Okay. All right. BobalosRex here. And today we talking about 11.1.7. Okay. I know I may be kind of set up for a lore rant, but it's not it's not a lore rant. It's more of I'm looking at features and stuff that I think 11.1.7 could bring. Okay, I haven't done a proper theories video for it yet, and I figured it's time. So I did bring up some stuff here that I wanted to talk about so y'all could see what I'm thinking about when I tell you about my 3 patch ideas. That I'm going to go over 3 patch ideas for what it could be thematically. Then I'm going to talk about other stuff that we should see in it, as well as what we know from the roadmap here. So, what do we know about 11.1.7? Now, I've talked about its date. Okay, we know this one should be in April, so this one should be in June. Okay, and it's got to hit before the end of spring, so it's gonna hit before June 20th. Okay, so it's got to hit before June 20th. Now, stories and quests. Okay, we know we getting story stuff. They didn't put story here. We now know what this consists of. So what would be added on here would be dastardly duos, and that's it. Actually, that's it. So we got children's for 11.1.5. It's the Nightfall content, horrific visions revisited, children's week update, and then the dastardly duos event. Interesting. Okay. They would probably say newer now, but yeah, interesting. Okay, so I may have put too much stuff in my 11.7. Now I'm thinking about it. But anyways, so we know for 11.7, story and quest, so we're gonna get the prelude to the point 2. You know, it's gonna reveal the point 2 basically. The new content and system update, so it's gonna be, this is the alt catch-up patch for the season. Even though this is really good for gearing, this one's going to also be good for gearing, and it comes with turbulent timelines. Okay, so I was like, all right, so that's what we know. Then I was like, okay, I want to go back because I'm seeing, especially with Sora Dormy popping up, right? I was like, yo, we are recreating Dragonflight in a way. So I was like, what are we missing? The Dragonflight patches have had. Okay. So what have we seen in a lot of Dragonflight patches that we don't see a mirror of in the War Within? So I was looking through here, Forbidden Reach, Siren Isle, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Oh, that was for here. Okay. They had Orc and Human Heritage Armor. Interesting. We haven't seen any Heritage Armors yet. Monks available. Okay. Recruit a friend refresh. I'm surprised we haven't seen that yet. That could, a recruit a friend refresh could happen at any moment. I mean, I haven't really talked about it in a while, but just FYI, it could happen on a patch. They should give us some more warning, but Storm's Fury, that was kind of meant. Trading Post, so this would have been when we got the anniversary event. This was Siren Isle. Then for Season 2, we got a new raid, we got a new zone, we even got a new dungeon, which we are going to get another new dungeon next season. So we do have a mega dungeon here, but they basically said the 2 dungeons they're doing are making up for the mega dungeon. Does it actually make up for the mega dungeon to players? Some people will say yes, some people say no. But there it is. So that was kind of that. We got a new renown. So in the 0.5, so what we're expecting, what Dragonflight got the War Within, and then compared to War Within. So new mega dungeon, we didn't get that, but we got a new dungeon, a new spec, which kind of worked, and it's hard to recreate right now unless they give Demon Hunter a new spec. I've already done a whole video talking about the Demon Hunter patch. Maybe if we see into that, I'll do that again, or maybe I'll just go back to that video and revisit that idea. But time rifts, I'm seeing a lot of... It's actually visions that are kind of vibing like time rifts to me versus the Nightfall. But Nightfall is kind of time rifty too. You got these events you get tons of alt gear. Okay? And then for the visions, there's a ton of collectibles. So in the 0.5, time rift slot is being filled. Okay? But what slot isn't? Kalimdor Cup. We don't see new drive races. Okay, that kind of sucked. And then Warlock pet customizations. That was kind of cool. And here, I do want to bring this up because there are like hidden stuff here. Sometimes. Little Scales Daycare. We got that pet event during this patch as well. We don't see that in the 0.5 yet. But maybe the 0.5 isn't all done. But as you can see, there's some stuff missing. In a way. I do think these patches are kind of as full. But there's, like, things missing, if you know what I mean, like, certain additions. But let's go to the 0.7 here. Heritage Armors. That's when they added the Heroic mode. Thankfully, we've already got Heroic of the new dungeon and everything. They kind of did that smoother, so we can ignore that. Dream Surges, more on that later. Another cup. Brewfest Hollow End refresh. And then new customizations. Okay. Okay. You see here? You see what we're missing here? This is something that we would get. You know, a cup, you know, is kind of little, but it's something. Dastardly Duos is kind of like a cup. Okay. That's like a new event. Okay. Though I would liken it almost to the Secrets of Azeroth event. Okay, but that was the 0.7. Then we got a 0.2, so that's a new season. So that would be similar to every kind of patch. Now, the 0.25 here. Let's see what we got in the 2.5. So this 0.25 would be way in autumn, right? This would be way out there. But let's kind of see what they're getting. More customizations, more demon customizations. Holiday updates, epilogue. That's when they added follower dungeons. Reclaiming Gilneas. Love it or hate it. It was a nice little quest. So the 0.5 here, and this is kind of where... Also at the 0.6, so you can maybe add Plunderstorm into this 0.5. But the 0.5 here didn't add too much, but it added Azerothian Archives. Reclaiming just a bunch of little things. Outland Cup. Okay. Alright, so this is like a very little patch, similar to some of the other ones in my opinion. Oh, it also had the Hearthstone Anniversary. See, it's not as little, because these are supposed to be little patches. And it's a medium patch. So, there we go. So, I think I've kind of... Here, let's do this 0.7 here. Trolling Draenei Heritage, Dark Heart Campaign, and WoW Remix Mop. Okay? And then if we take a really good look at the 0.7, so we got Dream Surges, because this is the patch that if we are modeling Dragonflight, this would be the patch that this is going to be similar to, the 0.7, okay? So we had Dragon Riding, that's when they fixed some stuff with the Nax. We got the Reforging Tier questline, a bunch of little quest lines, which these stuff would kind of probably be hidden on the PTR, for the 0.5, so maybe we could be getting more in the current 0.5. But now let's fully talk about my 3 ideas for the 0.7, because I think y'all have noticed, if you haven't, what is missing from Dragonflight as far as features, in my opinion, right? We got plenty of heritage and cool little random quest lines with the races. So you have the Tauren quest line. So you get these cool heritage armors and then extra quests. We haven't seen that in the War Within yet. So there's 2 races that need heritage armors. Okay, so I think both of them are for grabs. New class combos we haven't seen. Okay, remember in the 0.7 we got monks, monk class for all. In this we got the 3 classes for all. We did get Drakthir new classes finally, but you know. Then in this patch we got warlocks for all. Okay, we haven't seen shaman for all yet. We haven't seen paladin for all. We haven't seen druid for all. So where has this led me? Well, let me tell you, I'm finally here. Okay, my 3 patch ideas for 11.7. Okay, I know the lead up was a little long, but now we're all on the same page here. So let's get to the first one. Heritage armors. Who needs heritage? Pandas. Pandas need a heritage. How about we get a panda patch? Because I'm going to tell you right now. Look at this timing here. Spring, summer. Oh, spring, summer. Oh. Oh. This is kind of wild if it's that late. And if you actually count how long Dragon Soul is, or should be, you should end it around June. Okay, so Pandaria starts here. I think we could have a 0.7 that does give us story and quests, but it's also going to be a patch that coincides with turbulent timelines. So I think a Pandaren Heritage patch that's themed around pandas would be freaking great. Is everyone going to love it? No, but pandas deserve it. We got a goblin patch, we need a panda patch. Okay? Mop Remix 2. They brought Plunderstorm back. How bad would it be if they just brought Mop Remix back for a month? Maybe 2. You know? 2 months, yeah, too much to the patch. To the next patch. Basically, from this patch to this patch, Mop Remix is running. And you can just do it if you want. Pandaria Dragon Races. They were literally on the calendar in PTRs in Dragonflight. Never showed up. Never showed up. Didn't get to test them, but they were on, like, the calendar. It's kind of crazy. Mop Remix. So, or Mop Dragon Races. So, one of the patch ideas is the Panda patch. So, it'd be Panda Heritage be the main feature, Mop Remix coming back, Pandaria Dragon Races, and then it would coincide with Turbulent Timeways 4, which would give us a new mount. Maybe it'd be a Cloud Serpent or something. And it'd be a good gearing and leveling patch, which usually 0.7s are. Next up. Okay, I'm going to get to more open ideas, but there's the Panda patch idea. Next up, the next 2 are built around classes that I feel could fit in the current story. Demon Hunters can jump in whenever. Y'all know about my Demon Hunter class idea. Shaman can also jump in kind of whenever I feel, after the Primalists and everything. But the 2 I'm going to talk about that I feel could work right now, if they just expanded a little bit, okay? This isn't going to be a Paladins for all. This isn't going to be a Druids for all. You already know the class I'm talking about now. But it's going to be opening up for some that I feel people know deserve. So let's talk about the Druid patch. So, if we are heading into the World War, right? Because remember, we're at that divide where we go. And we may go to both. So if we're hanging out with the Harnair, doing the World Core stuff, Druids 4 more races, so we get that Druid patch I've been talking about. So we get Earthen, we get Blood Elf Druids, Human Druids, Orc Druids, Drakthir Druids, Nightborn Druids, and then I needed to give Alliance some more, and I said Dwarf and Dark Iron could be cool Druids. You give them their unique Druid forms, it would be a lot of animation, but I feel like it could work. If y'all got some better ideas for Druids, honestly, that would work. You could get wild with Druids. But I definitely would see them not doing druids for all, more like druids for some, and then maybe down the line there are more druids. And then this, remember when I talked about dream surges? If this is the patch we're getting, the druid patch, you'd have like world surges instead of dream surges. Like world soul surges is kind of what I was thinking. Okay, for the druid patch idea with the harmony and the world core, which could still come into play. You know, all pieces of all these could come into play. We'll just have to see. And honestly, some of these may come later. Maybe one of these is the 2.7. Okay. A lot of these are a little open-ended. Well, the World Core Harneer would have to be a little bit, you know, Kaza would have to be in the War Within. The Panda Bat patch can kind of pop in whenever. Now, for the Paladin patch. How do we get a Paladin patch? So, we reforged Tyr in Dragonflight 1.7. Okay? Or reformed the Tyr's Guard. This 0.7, guess what? They back. Paladins for more races. People have been jonesing for Paladins. Okay? I'm not a Paladin main, but I know they're out there. They want some stuff. Okay? So, Tyr's Guard formed in a 0.7. Sword Dormy's popping up in the 0.5. Tyr's Guard's popping up in the 0.7. Maybe. So, Paladins for so it would basically be the Tyr's Guard rolling up to help us with the Void. Okay? So, if we are going into the Void, this would be the time the Paladins show up. But again, the Paladins can show up in this 0.7 or in Midnight. Okay? So, like I said, I'm just kind of running through a bunch of the ideas here. So, Paladins for more races. The big two I was thinking, Undead Night Elves. People want it so bad. Then we got Gnomes, Cool Tyrants. Okay, then what are we doing? Horde side. So it's like High Mountain. High Mountain would work, Horde side in my opinion. Maybe Nightborn Paladin. Drakthir Paladins, they could do it. Worgen Paladins. You know, then we could get really cool with unique design Paladins. Remember, the main thing with Paladins is mounts. The main thing with Druids is Druid forms. The main thing with Shaman is totems. Alright? All have unique stuff. And should have it. We got Volpera, Pandaren, maybe. Orcs, Trolls, I think would be cool. Orcs and Trolls would be the coolest to add. And then we got Mag'har, Void Elf, maybe. But the big ones, I think, would be Undead Night Elf. They really, those players really want them. Gnome, we already know the Gnome Paladin player. Cool Tyrann. And then I do feel like you'd have to even it up. Like, they would have to even it up so it's fair. So they'd have to give some Horde ones. And that's where I think of, like, High Mount or Troll could be cool. And then, of course, if we're in the Paladin patch, we're in the Void Surges. We're getting Void Surges instead of Dream Surges. Because basically, I think whatever this 0.7 is going to give us that Dream Surge vendor. Where it's like the Siren Isles. Buy the veteran pieces. Weekly champion piece. Right? The 0.5, we don't see that vendor yet. So that vendor is going to be in the 0.7. Alright? Now what else? Because I also wanted to put some wishlist features on this. What features do I want this 0.7 to have independently of the 3 patch ideas I gave you? BFA Time Walking, plus a vendor. New Time Walking range. Not a BFA one, something... I think we're due... Pandaria doesn't have a Time Walking raid, it just has Mob Remix. Turbo Time Waste 4 we know. I want that new mount. I think for sure we're going to see an Undermine / War Within Season 2 meta achievement. Kind of like the Xalatath one. Here, let me pull it up here. So, you Zal Not Pass. So this one, there's going to be a new meta, I think. and it's probably going to require going Goblin mode, probably the Chet one. But I imagine there's going to be a new meta in the 0.7. And what would be cool would be to see a new meta here. The next one we're due is Legion, because we did Dragonflight, we did Shadowlands, then we did BFA. So we got Legion up. I do think they may delay Legion for Legion Remix. So maybe we could see a Pandaria one, a Warlords of Draenor one. So we'll have to see, maybe a classic. Something. I think that would be cool. One thing I mentioned a little bit earlier is Whelp Daycare 2. Okay? We need some pet stuff. Rating with leashes. What rating with leashes are we at? Let's see this. This is going to be disgusting, dude. Rating with leashes, 6. Pets at Pandaria. In 2021. Dude. And that's when I got it. I was late. I'm late to the party with some of these. Because see, that one I got in 2023. So, like, what are we doing? Did they just end this? They just ended the Rating with Leashes series? Why? This was so good. I don't know. Pet people. We need content. Pet dungeons. Okay, next up. Mount achieves. Mount achieves. We need a mount achievement. Dude. We've been sitting... When was this? Because I got this when it came out. The beginning of Dragonflight. We didn't get one in the War Within start. Put one in halfway through. Give us a 550. They stopped doing the 50s at 4. Give us a 550 if you don't want to make it too big. Give us a 600. Come on. I'd get the next couple. Drive races across Kaz-Ogar was one thing I want. And then the last thing that I think could maybe show up, especially I saw someone talking about, like the internal builds PTR or something. All I know is classic / retail being war bound with Mop Classic. They are basically moving into the modern collections. Okay, you got pets, toy boxes, and if they're gonna bring warband camps, I don't think they'd bring warband camps. But if they're bringing, they may, if they do bring warbands, then that would be the account-wide collection we may have. So it may be worth the Play Classic, because we all know what achievement. If you don't know, I mentioned it before, but there's an achievement that is different in retail and classic, and it's this one. This one still has the mount attached to it in classic. Oh my goodness! Same with this one. Very interesting that in classic they still have the mount in Kata. Holy crap! When that was removed, the next patch it didn't even that's a rant for another day. Anyways, those are my patch ideas. That's kind of my wish list as well for 11.7. I really want some pet stuff. I want more meta achievements. I want drive races, and I want retail and classic to be warbound, and maybe Mop releasing, Mop Classic releasing, maybe when we get the warbound classic and retail, so I can get those dragons I want. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.